Hello and welcome to today's episode of Need I Say Myrrh, the Christmas podcast. And today I am delighted to be joined by the one and only Pete Killingley. Hello, Pete. How are you today?
Hello, Adam. I am very well today. Thank you very much for inviting me onto your glorious podcast.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And I'll ask you to introduce yourself in a moment, but first, you are looking quite festive. Do you want to describe what jumper you're wearing today for those who are listening?
You should feel very honored. This is a jumper that was bought specifically for this podcast. Sophie went down to Sainsbury's this morning, took photos of a bunch of Christmas jumpers and said, "Which one do you want?" This one is a Volkswagen jumper that says "Fantastic Christmas" and then "Driving Home." So it's a play on the song "Driving Home for Christmas."
And fantastic is a pun on fantastic, presumably.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, wow. There we go. It works on so many levels. Well, two levels, yeah. And you've also got the Christmas tree in the background, so that's nice, isn't it? But we'll get to that in a moment. Who are you, Pete? Where are you? What do you do?
So I'm Pete. I live in Woking with my wife and two teenage children and our cat. And my job is head of church engagement for Care, which means I go out and about visiting churches, telling them about who Care are, what we do, and looking to help churches think through some of the issues that Care works on.
And what does CARE stand for people who don't know what CARE is?
It's an acronym. It stands for Christian Action, Research and Education. Basically, we work in politics. Our office is 5 minutes walk from Parliament. We're looking to speak God's better story into our broken politics.
There we go. You've rehearsed that line. It's good work, and people can get in touch with you if they want to know more and they want their church to be engaged with CARE. You are the church engagement person to get in touch with. And this is a special episode because your wife, who you mentioned, Sophie, was one of our guests on Series 1. I'm fairly sure you're the only spouse who's appearing on Season 2 of the podcast. Should we expect a similar kind of festive vibe from you as we got from Sophie?
I think not. Sophie and I are very different people. She brings the wild and the crazy. I'm more of a solid rock, kind of looking to keep her anchored. And so I don't quite hit the excitement levels for many people.
Okay, so this will not be an exciting episode.
No, you can tune out now. It's
Well, no, this is an episode to help you feel anchored and secure as we journey through Advent.
it's important, isn't it? That's really important.
It's vital, yes. So we should get on with some unexciting chat. Starting with question one, Pete, what is your favourite Christmas decoration? I see a few on the tree behind you.
Yeah, the one I'm going to mention is not on the tree behind me because I've taken it off and I've got it right here. I'm putting it in front of the camera now. It is a dinosaur wearing a Santa hat and a scarf, carrying a Christmas tree. Every year we go and buy a Christmas tree, and while we're there, we each get to choose one decoration for the tree. I know many other people do the same. And when we started doing that, I think Sophie still had these dreams of a nice, wonderfully pretty, elegant Christmas tree, and I was not in the mood for that. So I picked just the most ugly Christmas decoration I could find in the shop. And then as the years gone by, as we go to that shop, I'm always thinking, well, what bizarre Christmas tree decoration can I get this year? And I think this one is my favorite. It's the dinosaur carrying the Christmas tree.
It's a good decoration. Do you know what kind of dinosaur it is?
So I want to say T-Rex, but his arms might be a little bit too long. So it's kind of T-Rex-ish, but with slightly longer arms because he needs to get his arms around the Christmas tree that he's carrying, and it wouldn't have worked without that.
Yeah, it could be that he's put on fake arms for the purpose of carrying the Christmas tree. I'm trying to think what the narrative behind the decoration is, that's all.
Yeah, I suppose he's a T-Rex who's gone to buy a Christmas tree for his family. I mean, it seems fairly straightforward to me.
No,
Yeah.
it's a good decoration. It's a strong choice. So you will have bought your decoration for this year.
Yeah, we bought ours this year. It's let me just grab it.
Okay. This is an example of a bit that I'll cut out when I edit the podcast.
You can ask your question again, maybe.
What's the decoration you've got for this year, Pete?
Well, this year I have got I think it's supposed to be some kind of dog that is a mixture of dark and light green that looks rather lurid, kind of cross between radioactive, vomit colored, maybe snot colored.
It looks quite unwell.
It looks quite unwell. And we were just looking around the shop and he jumped out at me, and not literally. And I thought that is the decoration for this year. So I'm pleased with that.
Yeah, no, that is also another strong decoration. We should move on to the next question, which is about food. What is your least favorite festive food?
Well, I found this a really difficult question, Adam, because I think so much festive food is overrated. And I had so many options I could have gone for. Christmas pudding, Christmas cake, obviously sprouts and parsnips, red cabbage, mince pies, bread sauce. Basically, anything that is done specially for Christmas could make the list. Because my opinion is, here goes, the Sunday roast is perfect as it is. And all the good bits we have in a normal Sunday roast. And it's only at Christmas time where all these extra things get wheeled out. If they were any good, we'd have them all year round. There's my controversial opinion.
That is controversial, and I should add, we do welcome correspondence on this podcast. If you want to get in touch at needisaymyrrh at gmail.com, needisaymyrrh at gmail.com. So for you, the perfect Christmas dinner would just be a normal Sunday roast.
Yes, but more of it. So I'm okay with increased quantities, but a normal Sunday roast. Maybe some of those kind of pigs and blankets. We don't normally have them at other times of year. So that would be a little bit of a bonus Christmas food.
That's interesting that you allow one item.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've already listened to one of your podcasts, and just the comment that anything wrapped in bacon is improved has been said already on this season, and so I would stand by that. So that's my one exception. Anything wrapped in bacon can be added to a normal roast.
Sprouts with bacon?
Okay, I take it back.
And I think pigs and blankets are something you could have year round, though.
Yeah, but we don't. But I think you could. Which kind of proves my point, doesn't it? That it's the good stuff is what you have all year round.
But we've had mince pies like in February before.
Yeah, but Adam, you're not the most normal of people when it comes to pies and your opinions.
That's a fair comment, yeah. So we should come on to Christmas Eve then. You talked a bit about Christmas Day. Wondering what your Christmas Eve traditions are. It may be that your Christmas Eve traditions are just to do the same thing that you do the rest of the year round. But what are your Christmas Eve traditions, Pete?
Well, I used to be a pastor, and since leaving pastoral ministry, my Christmas Eve is so much more relaxed than it used to be, and we've been forging some new traditions. So, what we've done the last few years is we're normally in Wales with my in-laws. Late afternoon on Christmas Eve, we'll go to my brother-in-law's church, which is down by the sea, for an outdoor nativity trail. Whatever the weather, rain or kind of sun into darkness. We'll have the outdoor nativity trail. It basically involves wandering around. You walk another 10 meters, and then there's another character on the trail who'll tell you another bit of the Christmas story. And they rope in all these various actors who sometimes are people from the church, and sometimes people who are friends of people from the church, and sometimes our daughter gets roped in, and it can be quite fun.
Yeah, live actors. Yeah, because we've done a nativity trail here, but we had just like static images. But yeah, live actors. I've never been to. That sounds good.
You've got to be wary though, because with the live actors last year, the innkeeper started improvising and randomly let slip some blasphemy, casual blasphemy as he's going, as he's explaining why he can't let Mary and Joseph come to the inn. So you never quite know what's going to happen. But then there's usually some hot dogs and mulled wine there as well, so it's a good time.
That does sound good. Yeah, a good nativity trail. Do you have other Christmas Eve traditions that you'd like to develop then? Now you have your more relaxed. And thank you for reminding me of how stressful and challenging my Christmas Eve is going to be this year.
No problem at all.
Yeah, with your more relaxed Christmas Eves, are there other traditions that you aspire to?
Well, sometimes we watch a film in the evening as a family. Maybe Muppets Christmas Carol,
Yeah.
maybe Nativity, which I'm less a fan of. We've designated National Treasure with Nicolas Cage as a Christmas movie. I'm not quite sure why, but that's something we watch every Christmas. So sometimes that's Christmas Eve. So yeah, those kind of things.
and your perfect snack accompaniment to Muppet Christmas Carol or other film?
That's a great question. I don't know. You're gonna have to cut this bit out. I've got no idea.
No, I'm going to keep it in. So we should come to our final question, and the final question is: what is your favorite Christmas carol?
I actually like this question. If you'd asked me a few years ago, I wouldn't have liked this question. When I first became a Christian, I really didn't like Christmas carols, and I think it's because I grew up going to quite kind of a posh boarding school with lots of choral scholarship. I didn't have a choral scholarship, but lots of people did, and so there were so many Christmas services in chapel. Other times, I was kind of saturated with carols. And then when I became a Christian at university, I started seeing all these amazing truths in the Christmas carols that I'd been singing, but I still just kind of associated the carols with empty church traditions, which was all about the tradition and not really at all about Jesus. And so I didn't like carols for a long time. And it took me a few years to get over myself and actually realize no, carols are amazing and there's so much truth. And I love them now because it is just amazing how much truth can be packed into just like a single line or a single verse sometimes.
Mhm.
Now, I imagine the answer I'm going to give to this is going to be a really popular answer. And because I know I'm one of the last ones being recorded, maybe I'll be one of the last ones to be broadcast. And by this point, everyone will be sick of this answer. But it is Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Um, and I choose it for the line, which I absolutely love now. Veiled in flesh, the Godhead see. Hail the incarnate
Mm.
deity, pleased as man with men to dwell. Jesus our Emmanuel, I think is incredible.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just gets me every time.
It is a classic carol, isn't it? And yeah, those precious words that in just a few phrases capture so much of the beauty of the incarnation, and in phrases that you could spend hours just meditating on what that means.
So much packed into something so small, which you could say is a bit like the incarnation itself.
There we go. Anyone still looking for a Christmas sermon? There we go. Peter's brought it in. Um, and yeah, you'd have to develop that a bit. But yes, it is. It is the truth of Christmas communicated in both the form and the content of Christmas carols. There we go. Yeah, and growing up singing Christmas carols, and then for me, only actually coming to know Jesus as Savior later at university, then being able to those lines and carols that at the time I used to sing them as a child meant nothing to me, but then seeing actually how much there is in them. So I hope you enjoy singing Hark the Herald this year.
I'm sure I will. I will sing it with gusto.
That's good. And that's all I have to say to you, Pete, for this podcast at least. And we hope that you've enjoyed your experience on this podcast. And we hope that you have a fantastic Christmas.
Thank you so much, Adam. It's been a delight to chat to you.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.